Hi, everybody. I believe that I'm live once again. So welcome to my sunroom and Timber Hill with yoga and wine. So yes, I have my wine in the background. Hopefully you have yours as well. Amanda asked me, what am I sipping on tonight? And Throwback Thursday. So cheers, everybody, before we start. So hopefully this finds you healthy and well with yourself and your family members and anybody else in your life. Be sure to just keep putting good intentions out there and just take it one day at a time. We're all taking it one day at a time. So it's the best that we can do. But we're going to have some good movement tonight for anybody who's been sitting at your workstations since you've been home working. Make sure you're getting up and taking some breaks, moving around a lot, but we're going to move around quite a bit tonight, so that'll get your blood flowing. But we're actually going to start in constructive rest pose tonight. So that would be lying on your back with your knees bent and feet on the floor. So that's where we're going to go. Take your time as you come on down to the ground. No hurry. That's good for core strength too. And then once you're down here, give your shoulders some space by moving them away from the spine. And then give your hips a little shimmy or rock back and forth. Let your arms just rest naturally. And close your eyes for a few moments. Just start to be grounded. This is the whole process of checking in with yourself. And we have 3 areas that we check in with. First of all, it's the physical body. How are things feeling tonight? What did your day entail? Knowing that the ground is there to support you 100%. Let your muscle groups relax. I'm going to start taking some deeper breaths. Very deliberate. Let that breath reach down towards your pelvis. Now we're not going to be forcefully pushing our bellies out. But as the diaphragm drops down, our belly is just going to naturally expand. And you might feel the backside of your body pressing a little bit more into the ground. That's great for warming up in constructive rest pose, utilizing the breath. And you can feel everything expand. Bringing that breath up a little bit more and more into the chest. When you're at the top of the breath, I want you to pause. And slowly releasing that breath, starting with the chest. And let the belly be the last part that empties. And at the end of your exhale, pause again. And then repeat. Start the breath, inhaling slow and deep through the nose. So not only are you feeling the mechanics of the breath, I want you to feel the characteristics, the personality. What can you smell in your house? I smell my wine. We have chicken enchiladas in the oven. Soon I'll be smelling those too. The air in my house isn't too dry. It's not too moist. So when you're focusing on your breath, it takes a lot of the clutter out of those thoughts. I'm going to take a couple more deep breaths. I'm going to be silent as you take yours, and I take mine. And I mentioned taking the thoughts and directing them to something purposeful. So we'll go to our emotions and our energy level. My emotions might be a roller coaster lately. Just check in with how you're feeling emotionally right now. What your energy level is like. If you're feeling kind of drained, because the staying at home business is getting kind of old for you, or maybe you enjoy being home and you've discovered all kinds of different things about yourself, about your family, about your work environment, whether it's home or you're still going in. And check with your connections with others, how you've been meeting those goals to stay connected, making more phone calls. Maybe you've been sending some letters, maybe just more video chats. I'm going to take another deep breath. And as you exhale it out, you begin to move your head from side to side, just gently, rolling a little bit. Don't force anything, just go within your normal range of motion. We'll do a few more side to side, gently rolling back and forth. We'll bring our face back to neutral, and we'll take our fingers and place them in the back of your skull. Walk those fingers all the way down until you find that bony part of your skull that sticks out the most. And then let your skull rest in those fingertips. We're going to give a little traction. So our finger's going to pull gently away from our body. And then you can bring the head up just a little bit. So if we were sitting upright, we'd be tucking our chin down to our chest. This is elongating our neck. We're not using any force, just gentle traction. Still taking some deep breaths. And then we're going to gently release the head back down to the ground. So now the opposite motion, we're going to move that bony part that sticks out, the occipital lobe, down toward our shoulders. You might have to actually pick your head up and scoot the head back closer and closer. And then your chin will be jutted up to the sky a little bit more. In this position, we're opening the throat. And if you want even a little bit more, take the palm of your hand and press it onto your forehead and just gently, a little bit opposite pressure into the ground and a little pressure into the palm. Again, nothing is with force, just gentle. Take a deep breath. And you can release your palm if you're using it, and then scoot your head away back to neutral. So now we're going to tip as if you're sitting upright, and we'll be tipping our shoulder and our ear to each other. So again, you might have to pick your head up and then move the head so the ear comes more towards shoulder. And then you have that nice long length on the other side of the neck. Ear to shoulder is long. You can even move that opposite palm and press it towards your heels. Lateral flexion is what this would be. And we'll take another breath to the side. And then lifting up the head, scooting it back to midline. And then we'll move the head to the other side, lifting up so the ear comes close to the shoulder. And then maybe if you need more, pushing that opposite palm down towards your heel. Feel that long line stretching out, releasing the tension from the day. Still working on your breathing, slow and controlled. And then we'll move our head back to neutral. Now as you're working, I'm going to check where mine is too. Make sure you have to put your line toward the top of your mat or the bottom of your mat, and then stretch your legs long and stretch your arms overhead. Toes are pointed.
Fingers are reaching. This is morning stretch. And let your low back bump up to the sky. It's fine to move those toes and feet and fingers around, stretching through the arms and shoulders. Taking deep breaths. You'll notice it's harder to have the breath come to the belly when it's up to the sky. So really work on it. And take one more breath. And then we'll come back to constructive rest pose where the feet are on the ground, the knees are bent, arms are at your sides. You can let your body just relax in its position. And time to warm up core. So from here, we're going to do our pelvic tilt. So that's the decreasing the space between the top of the hip bones and the bottom part of the ribs, bringing them into each other. And then you'll find that your low back starts to press down. Keep your bottoms and the back of your legs soft. So you're not squeezing those muscles. It's shortening through the core to let that happen. And then the opposite direction. Hips go toward the legs, and then your low back can come up toward the sky. And then shorten them up. Bring that pelvis in and down. And then rock it the other direction. And bring it in and down. Rock them away. We're going to do a couple more. We're moving into true core after this, so let's get things warmed up. And last one. Pulling the pelvis in and down. We're going to keep it right here. We're going to extend our right leg down to the ground. And we bring our left knee into the chest and give it a hug. Roll the ankle. Give it the foot some twirls. We're going to twirl it the other way. And then we're going to switch sides. Stretch out the leg. Bring the knee to the chest. Hug it first. And then some rolls, some twirls. Other direction. And then we're going to bring the other knee in. So you have both knees hugged into the chest. A little side to side rock. And keep the knees by your chest. Place your arms on the ground. We're going to move our knees away from our chest to a tabletop position. You want knees ended up over the hips and the shins are fairly parallel to the ground. Now we're going to take the feet by the toes and lower them down to give a little tap. And then you lift them back up to that tabletop position. Try to keep your hips and ribs in close proximity. The low back is trying to keep itself on the ground. Lower. And bring it up. And we're going to lower. A little tap. And bring up. Then we'll do a little lower. And up we go. Back down. Are you breathing? Inhale and exhale here. Another inhale breath. Exhale. Let's do 3 more. Exhale. 2. Exhale. Last one. Little touch. And bring them up. Exhale. And go ahead and hug those knees again. As you release yourself, you'll find where you were holding tension as your core was maybe not as strong as you're hoping it was. So other body parts are compensating. Don't worry, it happens to all of us. So, all right. We're going to take our legs up to the sky. So let's get the blood flowing a little bit. Start to bicycle. Our weather hasn't been all that great yet to be outside, so imagine yourself on a beautiful country road, bicycling away. No dogs will chase you. You don't have to worry about cars speeding past. All right, a little faster. Get that blood flow going. Couple more. All right, we'll bring our legs to stillness up to the sky. Now, we're going to take the legs and lower them down away from our body a little bit. Now, you can challenge yourself as much or as little as you want, but have good mechanics. And then we'll bring them straight to the sky. Now, lower the legs down away. They don't have to go all the way down. Just make it challenging for yourself. Keep hips and ribs connected up to the sky. This is at your own pace. Make sure you're breathing. Inhale, exhale. Couple more. And last one. Legs are still up at the sky, but we're going to open up into a wide V. We're going to let gravity take a hold. I'm going to swivel those hips a little bit from side to side. Couple more. Just some playfulness. Get some range of motion going. Blood flowing to the hips. And then bring those legs together. I'm going to bend at the knees. Put our arms out to the side. Make sure once again that you look left and right. There you go. Spill your beverage. And then go ahead and tip your knees to one side. Take a deep breath. And bring them up to center. Tip them the other way. Take a deep breath. Tip them to the side. Deep exhale. Inhale, breath upward. And a tip. So as your waist warms up, see if you can keep your shoulders anchored on the ground as the legs go side to side. I'm going to do a few more each direction. Smiles on your faces as you go. No place else you need to be right now except on your mat. Thinking about your body, concentrating on your breath. Feeling how good it feels just to move around. One more on the other side. And then back up to the sky. All right, so this next one, you might need to use a little momentum, and that's okay. So hands can come by your side. We're going to bring our upper body up a little bit, and then we're going to rock back and let your legs go toward the back of you. And then we're going to rock forward. As you're rocking, try not to let your spine be disconnected. So feel each vertebra touching the ground every time you roll. So you notice I'm not coming up all the way, just a little bit, just enough to use some momentum to let my head come toward my knees, legs overhead. Couple more. Last one. Now, if you'd like this position, you can stay right here and plow. If this isn't for you, just bring your knees back to your chest, like so, and give them a hug. Otherwise, you can join me for a couple more breaths. And gently coming out. And if you were in plow, go ahead and Hold the knees into the chest. If you're already here, join me for a couple deep breaths. And then you can roll to a side and we'll prop up. This is a nice time for a beverage break.
So I won't be telling you when to take a beverage break. You can do that whenever you like because you're in the comfort of your own home, and so am I. Good stuff. All right, we're gonna come to standing from here. Oh, come on up. Take your time to roll on up. And we'll get grounded in our mountain pose. So that's taking the feet, pressing them down nice and firm, working your way up through the leg bones. I like to have my eyes closed when I check in with mountain pose because it takes anything visually. And if you're at your own home like I am, there's a lot of stuff to look at. So decreasing some of that stimulus. Let everything internalize, slow down. Focus on your posture. Shoulders have broadened. Top of the head is up to the sky. And take one more deep breath. And we're going to keep moving around. I'm actually going to move my mat back a little bit. You can see me a little bit better from that front view. So coming up to the top of our mat. Careful at your house, like I need to be here as well. Take arms up overhead, take a deep breath. And then exhale to a fold down to the ground. We're going to open to a part way. So we're doing a sun salutation. We're going to fold back down. We're going to step our legs back into a downward facing dog, lifting up the hips. Knees can still have a nice little bend in them. We haven't warmed up the back of the legs much. And then we're going to come forward to our plank position. And you can have knees down in plank if you wish, or you can keep them long and straight. Then we're going to lower our bodies down. You can have knees go down first, or you can have the whole body lower down. This is called a Chaturanga Dandasana. Move the shoulders away. Let your legs be long behind you. And then a little back bend. We're going to come back down. You can push back in child pose for starters. Take a deep breath here. And then exhale. We'll lift our bottoms back up, coming back to downward facing dog. We'll look up to the top. We are going to add a lunge. So I'm going to take my right leg up, back behind me. Make sure I don't hit my window here. Bring it forward through to runner's lunge. We're going to come up today. High lunge. Then bring your arms back down to the ground and step forward to a fold. Again, knees can be bent. We haven't warmed up much. Open up to a part way. Nice long spine. Fold back down. Take it back up to the sky. Exhale into a chair. I'm going to bring my hands right alongside the heart here. Later on, if you like, or even right now, you can just have alongside your ears in chair. And then we're going to come back up. So we're going to come back in a little back bend for some heat. We're going to fold back down. Open up part way. This is where you take a breath. Exhale, step back. Downward facing dog. Inhaling breath. Start your exhale and start your movement to a plank. We'll keep that exhale going, lowering down. Move shoulders away, lengthen everything long. Little back bend. We'll take it back down. Push back the child pose. And bottoms are up, downward facing dog. So in our flow, we don't pause a whole lot for a sun salutation, if you're wondering why I keep going. And then we'll switch legs up to the sky. Look between the hands, bring that leg forward through. And yep, sometimes you actually got to take that leg and move it up on your own. And then come up to high lunge. Arms will come back down.
Step forward to your fold. As the back of the legs start to warm up, you can lengthen them as much as you need or like. Open up part way. Exhale down. Come up to the sky. And then into our chair. Again, you can have hands here. You can have hands here. It doesn't matter what you're doing. We're going to go through that a couple more times. Here we go. Inhale, breath up. Exhale, down, ground. Inhale, breath, part way open. Exhale, step it back. Downward facing dog. Now it's fine if you step back the same leg each time. Just be aware that that's what you're doing. Otherwise, I recommend switching the legs back when you step back. Come forward to your plank. Lower yourself all the way down. And strengthen those back muscles, extension, down to the ground. Child pose, or you can push back up to a plank. From child pose, we all meet downward facing dog. You give that leg its rise back behind. Look to the hands. Forward through, runner's lunge. Get your grounding, high lunge. Down to the ground, step forward, fold. Open up. Make sure you're breathing. Exhale down. Inhale, breath, up we go. And exhale, chair. Warming up large muscle groups. Up we go. Exhale, down, fold. A little deeper this time. Inhale, open part way. Exhale, step back. Downward facing dog. Start that exhale breath. Movement. Down to the ground. Back bend. Now you'll be adding either your child pose or engage that core. Press up to plank. Press back to downward facing dog. Leg to the sky. Look to the hands. Step forward through. Upward we go. Down to the ground. Step through. Fold. Open part. Exhale down. Up. Sit back and chair. Keeping our muscle groups strong for independence. Keeping everything limber for independence. Open part. This is our last time through. Stepping back, downward facing dog. Exhale starts the movement. Keep that exhale going if you can. And back bend. And down. Child pose or push up to plank. Downward facing dog. Incorporate a leg. Take it through. Come nice and open. Down to the ground. Step forward. Fold. Open part way. Exhale down. Come all the way up. And then we'll take it to our chair. We're going to pause here in chair. So you can wiggle your toes around so you're not digging into your mat. Feel the weight evenly on the front part of your foot and back heel. We'll take one more breath. And fold from here. Lift the hips up. We're going to open up our feet just a little bit. Same width as our hips. And then find opposite elbows. Let your head relax and hang. Give yourself some sway from side to side. Do a couple more. If you don't want to sway, you can just bring yourself to stationary and let your upper body release down to the ground. Hips are lifted high. And then we'll bend the knees softly, rolling up nice and slow. All right, let's take our right foot back. Leave your left foot up. I'm going to turn that back foot so the edge is the same as the back of our mat. Coming into our warrior two legs. We're going to keep our body leg-wise just like this. And as we come into triangle pose, try not to let your bottoms stick back as your body comes down toward the front. So we're going to take our bottoms, keep them right where they're at. We're going to take our arms out parallel to the ground. I'm going to reach over that front leg, and as I reach, I'm going to let my hip kind of pivot over toward the front. So I'm going to reach and reach and reach and reach, and I've met my range of motion for as far as I can reach. Then it's fine to begin to let that arm come down. Think about this inside body here, still trying to be long. We know that other side body is long. And then I'm going to reach that arm to the sky. You can either look to the sky if you want, or you can look straight ahead. You can even look down toward that foot. Kind of depends on how your head and neck are feeling tonight. Just keep taking some deep breaths. Keep encouraging that back leg to be strong. We're mindful that we haven't locked that front knee, so that quadricep muscle is good and strong to squeeze into the bone. And we'll take one more deep breath. And lifting back up. Arms can come down. We're going to pivot that back foot, turning it in about 3 degrees or so. So my whole pelvis now is going to reach toward the front. I'm going to bend the front knee and bring arms to the sky. Warrior number one. Nice deep breaths. One more inhale. We're going to come down to the ground. As you do so, pivot that back foot so it goes the same direction as the front foot. So arms down. We have a pivot. Now you can step back from here to downward facing dog. We're going to pause here in downward facing dog, letting our centers come more toward the ground, letting your heels alternate up and down if you like. We'll take one more breath. And then you can slowly walk back up to the top. And roll on up. So anything we do on one side of the body, we've got to do on the other. So let's set those legs up. So nice long stride, front foot toward the front, back leg, back edge, same as the mat. Keep bottoms tucked in and down. Nice long arms. Start to reach, 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 and let your pelvis rock back, back, back. And as that arm comes down, try not to collapse into the side. Keep it stretching long over that leg. Arm to the sky. Now, if shoulder issues or any trouble whatsoever at any time, you don't have to have arms up. You can take that arm and just let it sit on your waist or drop it back behind. You're still encouraging your body to roll and roll open, rotate open. You can sometimes just take that shoulder out of the picture if it's bothersome. A couple more deep breaths. Again, your vision can go wherever you wish. Engage that strong core and lift all the way up. We'll have the pivot of that back foot turning in ever so slightly. It's enough that you can take the pelvis and move it toward the front. Bend the front knee and arms to the sky. Our warrior one. Last time we had practice a couple weeks ago on Thursday night, we did Warrior 2. I'm hitting Warrior 1 tonight, and we'll also get to Warrior 3. Virabhadrasana, Sanskrit names for those. I seldom use the Sanskrit terms because I don't use them. It's not correctly. I do use them correctly, but it's a language that's very beautiful. I just don't say it beautifully. We're going to take one more breath. All right, here's where we're going to pivot that back foot as the arm comes down. Then step back to your downward facing dog. I'm going to change views here. Oh, there's my wine. I have some of that. We'll take a couple more deep breaths in our downward facing dog. And then knees can come down. And if you're fortunate like me, I have my wine. So either your child pose on your knees, whatever position you like. You can have a couple sips of your beverage of choice. My house smells really, really good right now. The chicken enchiladas, the wine. Dinner's gonna be good later on. All right. Take a couple more deep breaths, whatever position you're in, whether that's child pose. And that looks like this if you're not sure what child pose is. Or if you're just sitting up in whatever position that you like. All right. Now you can join me back in downward facing dog. So wherever you're at, check your surroundings so you have room for your leg. So we're going to take our right leg up to the sky. And then we're going to bend at the knee. And we're going to open our bodies just a little bit underneath that arm. Pretend you're trying to give your bottom a good kick. Warming up the muscle groups. Opening up the hip. Couple more good movements of the leg. And then we'll bring our bodies back to our centers. And then you can step through to those hands. We're going to take that back leg and we're going to give a step forward. And then a gentle step back. I want you to have a nice soft landing when you go back to your lunge. Step forward, give a little tap. And a step back, soft landing, runner's lunge. Couple more. As you're landing, make sure knee keeps going the same direction as your toes. We're always mindful of our positioning, not to do anything haphazardly. One more step forward, stay right here. And come on up. We're going to take that leg, step back once again. You're going to bring arms to the sky. Do a slight bend to that front knee. Now you're going to step forward again for that tap. And a step back. Soft landing. High lunge. Step forward. Give a little tap. Keep breathing. Step back. One more. And step back. So I mentioned warrior number 3. We're going to go there right now. We're going to bring our arms to the front. Transfer your weight. Give a lift up. Now it doesn't have to be a really high lift. You can try to go a little higher, a little higher. Keep that opposite hip pointing down to the ground, reaching those fingers long. Balance, balance. Take a deep breath. And soft landing, coming all the way up. Now, if you've had a little more wine than I have tonight, that might be a challenge, and that's okay. No judgment. No judgment ever. Sometimes balance on one side of the body is really good. Sometimes it's shaky. Sometimes all the way around, balance just isn't your best friend. All right, I'm going to turn a different direction to the other side. So we'll take our arms to the sky. Exhale down to the ground. Step it back to your downward facing dog. Couple deep breaths here. And we're switching those legs. That's why I changed position. So leg up to the sky. Give a bend at the knee. Let your body open up a little bit underneath that arm. And then give some kicks like you're trying to get your bottom. It's okay if you don't. Warm up muscle groups. And then bring the body back. We'll bring our leg forward through. And our little step forward and tap. And a gentle step back. Low runner's lunge. Bring it forward through. Step. And back. Step. Back. Step forward. And back. Next one, you can step forward. And come up. All right, we'll be stepping back. And forward. Gentle step back. And tap. Step back. Soft landings. Up. Step back. And here we go. All right, so now we have warrior three, other side. Again, one side might be better than the other. Just appreciate the adjustments that your ankle and your foot and your leg are making. Take more deep breaths. And come on up. Soft landing. All right, we're going to come on down to tabletop, hands and knees. So I mentioned last time too, if you're on a really hard surface and if your mat's kind of thin, I doubled up mine so I could go both directions. Just take your mat and give it a fold, and then you'll have something else padding wise for your knees to be on. All right, so tabletop. Hands and knees. I'm actually going to turn this way for a better view. So we'll give our spine some nice range of motion with cat and cow. We have the lifting of our spine up to the sky, with the pelvis and the chin tucking. And then let the belly come down to the ground. Rock the pelvis away, move the head upward. And back up to the sky. This is the cat position. And cow. Rolling up. And down. So yes, you can incorporate your arms and elbows, moving the wrists. You can have toes curled under. You always want to make it so it's conducive to what your body needs. Last one. Roll to the sky. We'll come back to a neutral spine. So we're going to walk. I'm just going to extend my body backwards a little bit so I have more space on my mat. We're going to keep hips over our knees and keep your cores engaged as you walk your hands further and further away into what we call puppy pose. So my arms are at their full range. I'm going to allow my chest to come down between those arms as much as it can. And even to the point where possibly my forehead comes down off the ground. Let's take some deep breaths here. Feel the shoulders opening and lengthening. And as your body begins to soften, go ahead and let the rest of your body follow through. And I'll take one more breath. And then you can open up body to the sky. Begin to walk those hands back. We'll sit our bottoms back to child pose, but we're going to use our arms a little bit differently. So once you have your bottoms back, we're going to take the pads of the fingers and push them into the ground. So we're going to lift the arches of the hands up to the sky. Think about also lifting armpits up to the sky. And then bring those arms back in toward the body. It's a very active move for those arms. In case you are working on a keyboard or a mouse, spending lots of extra time on the computer. And we'll take one more deep breath with them in front. I'm going to do the same thing, but out to the sides. So full range of motion for the arms. Pads of the fingers in the ground. Lift the palms up to the sky. Think about the armpits themselves also lifting upward, and now pull those arms back in toward your shoulders. Take another breath. And then find a position that's completely relaxing to you. Let your arms go wherever that is. For me, it's alongside my body, so my fingers go the same direction as my toes. And we'll slowly begin to walk bodies up. Bring the legs out to the front. Stretch them out. Do some bounces, some wiggles, some rolls in and out. And we're going to just pause. We're going to have long legs. Feet have a little bit of a flex to them. Our sits bones are connected to the earth. Shoulders are broad but relaxed. Arm position, whatever is good for you. This is called staff pose, Dandasana. Closing your eyes. Just feel the warmth through the muscle groups. Maybe your heart is still pumping a little bit faster than what you're used to when you're not as mobile. Letting our energy level out. And arms at sides. We're going to take a deep breath skyward. We're going to keep the length of our spine going along into a fold, but we're going to do a flow. So come as far as you can, range of motion wise. Let your arms sweep down, but now sweep them back up.
Inhaling breath. Lengthen the spine, forward fold, gentle arms, roll them back up. And just a few more times. Inhale, exhale. Now, the next time that you have your arms skyward, stay right here. Lengthen everything upward. Take a deep breath. Now exhale that air out nice and slow into a fold. Find that range of motion for your body. Then let your arms relax. Let your head relax into fold. Make sure your inhales remain deep. Just recognizing anything that's changing within your body and your fold. How the back of the legs feel, the spine. Now you can softly begin to open up. We're going to bend at the knees, and then you can tip those knees to one side and bring your feet so they're stacked closely to your bottom. One is on top of the other. I didn't tell you right or left, and it doesn't matter. The knees are one direction, your feet are the other direction. I'm going to have you turn toward the direction of the knees. So you'll have your hand on the outside thigh, other arm is back behind you. Avoid leaning into it. It's just there kind of for a prop, something to do. Up nice and tall, and then gently turning. Rotation. I'm going to take a couple more deep breaths in our rotation. Make sure your shoulders are soft. We're going to come back toward our center, but not all the way to the front. We're going to find ourselves over that outside knee and fold down over it. And if you want a little bit more out of this, you can unstack those legs so the heel and the foot come to each other. And encourage that leg away. We'll have rocking upright. And we'll give a flip flop to the legs. So you can have them stacked, or if you want to start out right away with one foot towards your bottom and the other sole of the foot connecting to that thigh, that's just fine. You just want to make sure that you can have a tall posture to do so. And then connect, relax shoulders, a little encouragement to turn. We're gonna bring our body back toward that knee, and then walk the arms out in front, folding over. And then walking back up. Bring our feet flat on the ground. Let your hands rest behind you. And then you can tip the knees in and out. So obviously we're slowing down our practice. We're winding down for the night. We're going to take the next few moments just for some reflection and get ready for Shavasana. So if you would like to take a moment to turn your lights off, I'm going to leave mine on. But you get your room situated, maybe it's time to put some layers on if you've cooled off body temp wise, some socks or some layers, you can do so. I'm going to bring my body to stillness. So as I coach you through Shavasana, I'm going to remain in a seated position. You're welcome to join me just in this right here. Otherwise, if you're going to come into Shavasana, you're laying all the way down on your back. Let your legs flop open. Let your arms come by your sides, and you'll be rolling open gently so the palms are toward the sky. You'll be closing your eyes. I'm going to close my eyes as well. I'm going to select the mudra, which is a hand position. So me personally tonight, I'll be connecting my thumb and my first fingers, index fingers, ever so slightly. Backing off just so I can feel their connection without any force. Like I said, if you are in corpse pose, Shavasana, you just let your hands rest open. Now, regardless of the position that you're in, whether it's lying on your back in corpse and Shavasana, or if you're sitting upright in our easy pose, take advantage of the ground underneath you, feeling all the contact points. And we'll be aware of our breath, but we won't have to direct it so much with deliberate inhales and exhales. Let everything soften. It's nice to know that you don't have to worry about your posture, your positioning, your balance, your coordination, your left side, your right side. This all melds together into one magnificent body. Taking this time to reflect on our practice where we didn't have to think about anything other than our body and our breath. And if you're joining us for our very first yoga practice ever, don't worry about the positioning as far as what they look like. How did they feel? We're all new to something at one point in time. And newness can be scary. This whole experience with being homebound has probably been scary for a lot of you. And hopefully been able to appreciate the slowness of how the days have been. Maybe there's some extra time for reflection and what's important. I know there are many that are struggling, whether that be financially or emotionally, or maybe even physically. The most important thing you can do is reach out for help. As a human race, generally we're all really good people. We want to help wherever we possibly can. But we have to know how to help. So don't be afraid, don't be ashamed. If you need anything, reach out to people. I'm going to take a few more deep breaths. If you are in full Shavasana or corpse pose, you're lying all the way down, start to move around a little bit. Liven up those muscle groups. Take some deeper breaths. And then when you're ready, you can bend at the knees and move to a side and slowly transition to sitting upright. If you have a beverage, you can bring it in front of you. It's kind of our Timber Hill tradition of how we close class. Taking a hold of that beverage. Just be aware of the difference and what it feels like. My body's quite warm right now and my glass is cold, smooth. I can smell the wine. It smells so good. Using all of our senses. And we raise a toast to each and every one of us. Bringing it back to our hearts. And traditional yoga closure is namaste, which means I see in all the light that's within you. It might be covered up because of the times, but it's there. It'll shine again. You see it in others and you see it in me. Namaste. And cheers. I'm sure I'll be back again. I hope you can join me. Namaste.